Can you hear the confidence in my voice? This is the difference. If you're not making thousands per client, this is why. You can bring in 3 clients a month, $5,000 per client. That's $15,000 you're making per month for just 3 clients. But you've got to start stepping up. You've got to break through this bullshit that is in your own mind, overthinking stuff, thinking you need another launch, another campaign. No, what you need is conversations. What you need, position yourself as the authority on the front end, and then work through this process. The only sales conversation you will ever need. I'm about to give you the keys to the kingdom. Behind me on this board is my entire blueprint, and we're going through this step by step today. It's going to take about 20 to 30 minutes. If you've not got 20 to 30 minutes to go through a conversation that will change the way that you sell forever, and you can literally start using it from today, then I question your entire seriousness about business. This is what I've used to generate over $2.5 million in sales in my own business personally, and to help hundreds of clients around the world. I've got beauty therapists that are selling for $2,000 all the way to £12,000. That's UK pounds. They've shifted from struggling to get another client, being back to back with the low paying clients, to working with clients on skin transformation journeys, truly changing their life in the process. I've got a basketball coach that's gone from selling individual basketball one-to-one sessions to working with the top athletes in the world. He's charging tens of thousands of dollars. The list is endless. Whether you're a graphic designer, a consultant, a personal trainer, this will work for you. And if you're brand new to business, welcome, you're in the right place. If you've been in business 25 years, you need that inspiration to get refocused. This conversation is going to be the game changer. It's going to help you shift to be the authority in what you do. And that's why we're going to start on this side of the board, because why would you even want to implement a consultation process? By the way, you might call it a discovery call, a sales meeting, or something different. For the sake of today's training, we're going to call it a consultation, because you need to be the authority in the eyes of your potential client. The higher your authority, the less you need to justify. The lower your authority, the more you need to justify everything in your life. And let's be real, most conversations are random, and therefore we get random results. We don't know what questions to ask. We don't understand the deeper psychology of why somebody will buy something. And so we're just throwing things at the wall. We're asking random questions. We're sharing random steps, and we never get a predictable result. And even when a client goes ahead and buys, we don't know why they bought. We don't understand what separates that conversation. What question was it? Why did you ask in that way? Was it your tonality? And this removes all of that struggle for you. Instead, you're going to be able to be in the authority without the pressure. And I'm taking you through everything today. You can sell with integrity, because I'm not teaching you to sell at all. In fact, the best sales conversations are when the customer or potential client isn't even aware they're being sold to. And it's not to manipulate, it's because genuinely you are there to care about that individual. You must care about the client with all your heart, every cell in your body, but equally not give a damn if they say yes or no. This whole conversation is structured in a way so you're selling $1,000 and up. If you're selling anything below $1,000, just let them know and can buy. But if you're selling or you want to sell $1,000 and up, this is the training for you. But at that level, you must understand it's not about convincing. It is all about seeing if this individual, this potential client, is the right fit. So, are they the right potential client that I want to work with? And that's why it's key. So you can sell with integrity. This will give you the power to walk away from the wrong type of client, provided you practice and you go through and implement. And from there, we shift to predictable results. Once you start stacking up 10, 20, 100 of these conversations. I've had thousands of these conversations or consultations over the years, and so I can see the predictability when I sit with somebody. I can see straight away if they're going to have a price objection before they've even told me. I can see if they're not committed before they've even shown that lack of commitment. And it's all because I follow a structure that's proven again and again. And today it's your turn. From here, clarity converts. When our conversations are random and jumping all over the place, we are not within our power. Therefore, we're not an authority and we're not going to be giving clarity to the client. A big part of this consultation is you are defining the goal. This is over here. You're helping the client define the goal. The reason why a client will need you in the first place is because they haven't thought about what they truly want on a deeper level. Your job is to help them to define that transformation. And the more clearly that they can see, if you can help them see something within themselves that they've never thought of before, and they can see it as a movie or an image, they go, wow, that's what I want, that's what I've been lacking. And that's the aha moment, the breakthrough that we're helping to provide. And then from there, it's going to create these breakthroughs and aha moments, as I've just mentioned. Before we get into the consultation itself, because over here we've got rapport. This here and moving through this blueprint is sitting down with the client. Again, remember, this works online and also face-to-face. We're going to start before the consultation because the client potentially buying doesn't start the moment they sit down with you. It starts before the consultation. I call it pre-consultation. There's a few areas I want to go through with you. The first is making sure that your positioning is clear. So for example, with this YouTube channel, I am making sure that my positioning is clear in what I do. Peaceful sales and consulting is my niche area, but I'm showing up consistently sharing these type of high value videos, and this allows me to have the positioning and an authority in the eyes of my target market. So what are you doing to make sure on the front end, through your social media, through your email marketing, through everything that you do? Maybe you have a physical business and it's about how your business is set up. If you look like every other type of business out there, you're going to get the same kind of pains and struggles of every type of business. So your positioning before a consultation is key. The moment that somebody comes into your world, what do they get from you? How do they feel when they look at your Instagram? Do they believe that you're somebody that looks, acts and feels and can command to charge thousands of pounds? Or do they look at you and say, oh, you're just like everybody else in the industry? From here, are you an authority? And all of this can be summarized by saying, well, what is your message to the world? For me, it's peaceful sales and consulting, because I realize I no longer work from a place of stress and anxiety, but also going deeper than that, that you can sell 4,000s per client the peaceful way. And you can create real change and transformation in the life of your client. So if you go through any of my videos here on YouTube, it always comes back to that core message. Remember, a master in their craft isn't talking about 1,000 different things. They're talking about 2 or 3 things in 1,000 different ways, because we don't need more tricks, we don't need more fireworks. What we need is change and transformation. So before the client even gets on a call with you or they meet you face to face, they need to see what you are about. That is key. From here, here's some more practical steps for you. I'll do another video on this, but very quickly for now, every bit of revenue I've generated within my own business has been through application. I don't allow anybody to get on a call with me just to have a chat. Hey, can we have a conversation, please? No. Here's a quick application form. If you don't mind taking a few minutes to fill this out, because for me, I want to see that I'm even the right person to be able to help you. If I'm not, it's okay, I can let you know. Or I can point you in the direction of somebody or some resources that can help you further. Can you see the amount of time that we're saving by having this application process in place? But the application goes extremely deep as well. If you're providing 30 questions that's going to take them 3 hours to fill out, you're going to lose those applications, especially if your authority is low. But also, if your authority is low because you're starting out and you don't ask any questions, yeah, let's just have a conversation, you will shift or slip into a place of convincing, and you do not want that to happen. But application before anybody speaks to you. Can you see all this work that goes in? And the more effectively we do this work here, the easier this entire process becomes. If you don't do any of this work, or it's just haphazard and reactive, then good luck. Everything here is going to be extremely difficult and you're going to wonder. And I do get people say that, Pete, I've been through your 5-step consultation process, didn't work for me. Well, number 1, can you go through step 2? And can you tell me what question number 3 is in step 2? And they never know. They never know when I start to actually challenge them, are they practicing the consultation? But then I take one look at their social media and I take one look at their website and I realize you're not positioning yourself as an authority. You have no application process in place. You're not consistent with your messaging, and that's why you're struggling. So these are practical steps: application, good communication. The amount of sales that we lose simply because we don't reply to people or we don't stay on top of the communication. So good communication is key, and believe it or not, people will buy into your process. If there's friction in the sales process before they even get to the consultation, if you seem disorganized, nobody wants to buy from somebody who doesn't have their shit together. So these are simple steps that you can take from today that will already increase your sales, let alone going through the entire 5 steps right now. Let's kick off with the consultation itself. I want you to imagine that you are now sat face to face with a potential client. you know that you can create real change and transformation in their life, and they are going to invest thousands with you. $2,000, $3,000, maybe $50,000. By the way, as a consultant, I've charged over $100,000 just for one client, £100,000 just for one client. And guess how I do it? With this consultation. It works again and again and again. So starting off, rapport. The first thing when we think of rapport is that I need to find out what they got up to on the weekend, and have they got a cat, or does their son do jujitsu? No, you don't need to know any of that. Building rapport is not about finding common ground. I remember sitting down with a salesperson and he said to me, "Oh, did you see the big match last night?" I'm not into football. Yes, I'm English. Yes, we love football as a country, but that doesn't mean every single English guy loves football. And he thought by talking about the big match, which I had no idea what big match was on. It could have been Chelsea, could have been Man United, could have been Norwich City, I don't know. And he said, well, this guy scored a goal and da-da-da, and did you see that save by the goalkeeper? And I'm nodding thinking, this is way off, and this is not how you build rapport. In fact, it was a masterclass in how to not build rapport. The fact that your potential client, because they're not your client yet, the fact that they have a problem that they want to solve, and you are the authority who can solve that problem and create real change in their life, that's already enough rapport. Sure enough, you're going to be a human being, you're going to get to know them, but let that flow. Don't force the rapport, and don't go on about what you got up to on the weekend or what they got up to on the weekend. It's all irrelevant information at this point. But building rapport is much more about stating your position. Now, you've done a lot of this pre-consultation. Your marketing, your messaging, all of this should achieve this on your behalf. But the most important thing, and this is counterintuitive because nobody does it, what you want to do is you want to be letting this potential client know how long you work with clients, so they can understand, okay, I work with clients for between 3 to 12 months. It depends on the client, their needs, what I feel is going to be the best solution for them. For every single client, I need a minimum of 3 months because it requires that to create real change. Can you hear that language? How much you charge? Now, again, this goes against what everybody is teaching online and in the sales space. We're told, create the value, make sure that they see the value, then say how much you charge. I think it's complete bullshit because it's not dealing with the elephant in the room. It's exactly why we get to the end of so many consultations, then we say the price, and then we hear we need to think about it. There is a nuance in how we explain all of this, and I'm going to go through it with you now because I'm holding nothing back with you. Step by step, we're going through it. So you're stating how much you charge, the way you work with clients, and now you're letting them into your methodology, so your unique value, and also the transformation that they can expect as a result of working with you. So the conversation will sound something like this. Hey, Mr. or Mrs. Smith, it's so great to meet with you. Before we begin, I know that you follow me online, right? And you probably are aware of how I work, but everybody I meet face-to-face or online, I want to be clear exactly how I help my clients. Will that be okay? The client will say, yeah, sure, that sounds good. So this is the process. All my clients, I work with them for a minimum of 3 months, up to 12 months. A lot of my clients are lifetime clients, but the initial agreement is 3 to 12 months. And the reason for that is because I want to make sure that they've got everything they need to create the transformation when it comes to sales. I specialize in sales. And that requires at least 3 months. Clients invest anywhere from $5,000 if they're a small business, all the way up to $100,000. And that probably won't appeal to you because I know you work alone, right? You don't have any team members. Okay, so we're not gonna be looking at $100,000, maybe we're looking at $1 million. I'm joking, but we are looking at somewhere between $5,000 to $15,000 for a small business owner. And then from there, the way that I work with my clients is unique because it's a group consulting program that they're going through. They're working with my other group consulting clients. They're practicing the consultation, they're implementing, and they're sharing their results along the way, and they've got everything they need to be supported. The type of transformation, I always smile at this because everybody comes to me and they want to make more sales, and that makes sense. But I always say, without overselling it, increasing your sales is easy. Creating sales transformation, selling for thousands is easy. The real change is who you become in the process. And that's the biggest thing that I see within my clients. I'm super proud of how my clients work. So just as a little bit of a reintroduction, even though you might be aware of how I work, these are the steps that I go through. Have you got any questions for me already? Can you see what I've done here? I've opened up and I've been clear about everything. I've removed all of those worries and fears. I've been clear on the way that I work, the type of transformation. Most importantly though, I've stated how much I charge. But the nuance is, and this is where everybody goes wrong, I haven't said I will work with you for 3 to 12 months. I will charge you $5,000 to $15,000. I've removed that pressure. A lot of people believe that sales is about pressure. Sales is about removing pressure at every possible avenue. Every opportunity you've got to remove pressure, remove the pressure. It's got to be zero pressure selling. Everybody loves to buy. Nobody likes to be pressured to buy because they're going to feel cornered. The moment they feel cornered, you're going to lose them. So what we're doing is we're just informing them. And at this point, if they've got any major objections, they can raise it. They say, wow, Pete, I'm going to stop the conversation right now. I haven't even got $1,000 at this point. And then you can go in a different direction. Bearing in mind, you've stated all this, we've been truthful. This is a truthful way to sell. We can now move to step number 2. All the steps are vital, but step number 2, I believe, is by far the most important. And if you practice step number 2, it makes all the steps much easier because you will spend 80%. You should spend 80% of your time in step number 2. Why? Because what you're doing now is you're reaching the deeper psychology of why they will buy in the first place. We are not here to simply pitch a product. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, oh my goodness, I'm going to spend $5,000 on sales transformation today with Pete Scott. What happens is it's done through a conversation, understanding that we're a team. Is this the right option for you? And also let's create some aha moments, some breakthroughs. Let's help you to define the goal so you can see clearly what you want. And we do this through qualifying. Now, the questions I've got here for you are not just individual questions, and please don't ask them in the way that I've written them here. I'll run through them quickly with you, and then we're going to break each one down and state why it's so important. The first one is, why are you here? You're not going to say, why are you here? Instead, what you're going to do is say, I want to get to know you and I want to find out the big goal. By the way, you probably know this already, and I mentioned earlier that I'm all about sales transformation, or I'm all about skin transformation, or I'm all about whatever it is, you fill in the blank. Remember, the bigger the conversation, the bigger the sale. Most people don't sell for thousands because they're afraid to have a real conversation. And the funny thing is, our clients want change. They want transformation. They want to be in a completely different place within 30 to 90 days because they're working with you. But we hold back and we go, no, I can't do that. I'm just going to sell them a service. So therefore we try and pitch them on a service which they don't want or need. And that's why we get objections. But if you realize one thing, the client doesn't buy your service. The client doesn't buy your product. They buy their goal. But the problem is they haven't defined their goal. And because they haven't defined their goal, they lack confidence. And because they lack confidence, they're going to have objections and they're going to be scared and they're going to be in this uncertainty of, I want to change and I know that there's more potential for me, but I really, truly don't know the way. If they knew all of this, they wouldn't need to pay you or anybody thousands because they could do it themselves. If the client sat there and said, well, I know my exact goal, I know how to get there, I don't need any help, I'm on it, then let them do it by themselves. The biggest competition you've always got is not the competition down the road, it's the fact that the client believes they can achieve the goal without your help. When they sign up with you, when they say, here's $5,000, here's $20,000, whatever the amount, they're doing it for one simple reason. You are the answer. There's no other option. You're the answer. Working with you is going to accelerate their results by times 10, even times 100. So therefore, they're getting times 10 to times 100 the value what they pay. And that's why charging £50 or $50 for something that somebody doesn't want or need is expensive, and charging $50,000 for a company or an individual where they feel they're getting $500,000 to $1 million back in value is cheap. Pricing is not linear. Pricing is down to value and how it relates to the individual. But in order to do all this, we must ask questions. You sell with questions, not with answers. Most of us are just trying to give answers. Oh, well, I can help you, I can help you. Don't be people pleaser, eager beaver. Like, slow down. Focus on the client. You want everything to come from them. For me, it's about gently challenging the client. We're not there to be a relationship builder. Oh, just build a great relationship and people buy. Bullshit. We're there because we want to change people's lives. And their way of thinking up until that point, they're not getting the result that they want. So you are actually selling a different way of thinking. a different point of view. And when the client has that breakthrough, the aha moment, they then start to go, oh my goodness, I'm ready to change. Is all this making sense? By the way, drop your notes below. Let me know how you're getting on. And also, I've added my 21 transformational sales questions PDF below. You can click the link and you can go through there, because that helps with this entire 5 steps. So number 1, why are you here is not why are you here. It is, what is the biggest challenge you are having right now? You can start with the negative if you feel that's the right place to go. And then you bring them back to what they want. My favorite question though is that if your life is going to be entirely different in 30 to 90 days, because we've worked together, then what's that going to look and feel like for you? So what's the number 1 goal? Don't tell me the number 5 goal or the number 7 goal. I want to know the number 1 goal. And what's going to happen is a lot of the time when you ask these types of questions, you're going to make the client think, because you're asking questions that the client isn't asking themselves, and that's why they need you. Their family members aren't asking these questions, their boss isn't asking these questions, their dog isn't asking these questions. You're finally asking them questions that make them stop and go, wow, I don't know. And I don't know is the best thing you can ever hear. An amateur, when they hear I don't know, panics. It's okay, well, I've got this product. It's okay, I'll take care of you. What we do as an expert and a master in our craft, when we hear I don't know, we say, that's okay, that's what we're here for. If you knew the answers to everything already, you wouldn't need me. So let's go deeper with this. If you knew the answer to what we're talking about here, when it comes to sales transformation, what would be different for you? And I'll give you a prime example. I've got a client that was struggling to get out of being fully booked. She was fully booked, but she was making no money. And she said, Pete, I just want to be seen as the authority, work with 3 to 5 clients a month, charge £3,000 to £5,000 per client. So I said, okay, what is it for you? And because I gave her the answer before asking the question, in other words, I painted a story around it, she came back and said, that's exactly what I want. Yeah, Pete, you just defined it for me. That's what I've been missing. You see, these are the gems, the aha moments, the breakthroughs. And without the gems, the aha moments and the breakthroughs, nobody's gonna buy. Nobody buys because you're pretty. Some people might, but why are you here? Number 2, specifically, we'll go back through all 4 of these now. Number 3, are you ready? Number 4, do you mind if I share? This follows a process. Number 1, defines the goal. You need to get the goal, the big goal defined. Why are you here? Do not ask why you're here. Ask, what's your number 1 reason that you're here? Why do you need to see me today? What's the outcome you want from this meeting? What is the ultimate goal you want to achieve in 30 to 90 days because we've worked together? You get the idea. Specifically, once you've defined the goal, just because somebody's told you the goal, we need to now be specific. We're going to come back to this in a moment. Then you define their readiness. Are they at research stage? Are they just winging it? Or are they absolutely sick and tired of being stuck and they're ready to get unstuck? This will answer that question. And then number 4 is you're saying, well, do you mind if I share? And that brings you to step number 3. But we need to go a little bit deeper with these steps. You see how important this is. And by the way, all of this here is not just 4 questions. It's a wide range of questions. That's why you need to download my 21 transformational questions. I have over 250 questions but I put 21 of the top ones into a PDF for you. But what all of this does, and it's not just questions, it's how you ask the questions. It's the timing, the framing, the storytelling. People end up asking questions, and I see this, they go, so why are you here? And it's like some weird interview. And of course you lose authority. If you're following a script and you sound robotic, nobody's going to believe you. But what you're doing with all of this is you are pre-handling all the objections. All of these questions should deal with all the objections before you even begin. That's the wonderful thing about it. So you define the goal here, and then from there you go deeper with it here. My favorite question of all is so simple and so profound in the answer that I've heard from literally hundreds and hundreds of clients over the years. Tell me more. When somebody starts to tell me their goal, what they truly want, I say, wow, that's so fascinating. Can you tell me more about that? Because what I've found over the years of doing this, I've been in this game a very, very long time, 2 decades, more than 2 decades. I'll ask a question, what's your ultimate goal that you want to achieve? And it's almost like we've not been given permission in life to talk about that thing. So we say, well, I'd like to make more money. Wow, well, what does making more money mean for you? Because I know making more money for me gives me freedom, it gives me time, it gives me calm, and it means I can contribute more. And then from there, I can live where I want to live. There's a lot of stuff that goes with making more money. So can you tell me more about that? Tell me exactly. And you have to challenge the client's status quo. You are not there to sell them a product. You are there to help them redefine the way they think. In fact, I'll go one step further. You are there to help them rewire, quite literally, their internal programming. And this is the power of this consultation. And the funny thing is, we're like 26, 27 minutes in now, and I'm just cracking open this thing. Like, this goes so deep, but you can start this today. Like, if you're here now, you're here because you're serious, right? There you go. So we've got to go deeper most of the time. So 80% of this entire process is spent in step 2, and 80% of step 2 is spent going deeper. Most of the time we don't do that. We say, why are you here? Because I want to look younger. Okay, I can do that. You just lost authority entirely. What's the number one goal that you're wanting to achieve? Well, I want to look younger and feel a bit better. Okay, I understand what looking and feeling younger feels like for me and what my life is like. What does it mean for you? Can you hear that language? Oh, I'm really not sure. Well, let's just paint a picture a bit. So let's say we work together over the next 6 months, or let's say you work with somebody and you go on this journey and you start to create this change. In 3 to 6 months, you sit down, we have a coffee or herbal tea, whatever you drink, and you say, this was the best decision I ever made. What was it that made it the best decision? Oh, wow, you ask really tough questions. I do, because I'm here to help you. I'm not here to bullshit you. I'm here because I want to help you create this change in your life. I'm here to change your life through the area that I can help with. Can you hear the confidence in my voice? This is the difference. If you're not making thousands per client, this is why. You can bring in 3 clients a month, $5,000 per client. That's $15,000 you're making per month for just 3 clients. But you've got to start stepping up. You've got to break through this bullshit that is in your own mind, overthinking stuff, thinking you need another launch, another campaign. No, what you need is conversations. What you need, position yourself as the authority on the front end, and then work through this process. The more you work through it, and by the way, my clients all practice this together again and again. If you're not in my community yet, make sure you join my community. You can click the link below and you can get into the community. So 80% of the time here, and then this is the nuance. You're not saying, are you ready to work with me then? Because that's salesy. Remember, we're removing pressure at every given opportunity. What we're saying is, if something came along that was the right solution for you and you felt, hey, this is perfect, would it be something you're willing to do? And by the way, I'm not saying that that solution is with me. I'm talking about in general. At this point, I want you to consider if you're ready to move forward. See what I'm doing there? I'm reminding the client, and actually I'll be more direct. I would say, I don't care if it's a yes or a no and you decide to work with me. I want to remind you it's entirely your decision. It's up to you what you do today. If you say, hey Pete, I'm ready to work with you, how do I get started? Wonderful. If you say, Pete, this has been a great conversation and I'm not ready yet, that's okay too. I'm not here to pressure you, I'm not here to make you buy. And it's easy to say, well Pete, that sounds very manipulative. No, it's not. It's only manipulative if your intention is to manipulate. If you're doing it from a place of sincerity, I generally don't give a shit if people buy from me or not, because I've always got the next 5K, 20K client lined up. That's just my mentality. It's exactly where I'm at in my life, in my business. And I was like this as a 22-year-old personal trainer, where I shifted from trying to sell personal training sessions and packages to transforming, to doing body transformation and charging thousands of dollars per client. And I didn't give a shit if they said yes or no, because it's entirely up to them. We're not there to push people into a corner. But the funny thing is, by simply reminding the client that it's their decision if they say yes or no, and you're okay either way, you are stating your coolness, your calmness, and also the pressure is removed. I've quite literally seen the client go, that's good to know, because it's a conversation. It's not forcing. So are you ready? When they say, yeah, I am. Brilliant. In that case, do you mind if I share? We've defined the goal, we've gone deeper on the goal, we've pre-handled objections, we've stated their readiness, and now we can move to step number 3, which is method. And this is where it gets extremely interesting. At this point, the reason why it's called method is because your unique value is the way that you help clients. It's what you've discovered. So this is my blueprint, this is my methodology, a part of my overall sales method. And I have transformational offers, which is a part of my methodology. I have my sales whiteboard method, which is here on YouTube. You can view that as well. And all that combines. And I've had multi-billion-dollar companies want to hire me as a consultant, and they pay me tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars to go in and share my methodology. I've had hundreds and hundreds of clients over the years pay me thousands, who are salon owners, who are bookkeepers, accountants, to graphic designers, because my methodology works. It might not be the best in the world, but I don't really care. I've been involved in this. I'm obsessed with the method. Does this make sense? So what's your unique way that you help clients? And by the way, here's your clue. It's not something gimmicky or something new. You're already doing it. You just don't realize. And when we have that breakthrough, holy shit, I'm already doing this. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. I was already doing all of this. I created this process because I was struggling as a personal trainer, and it started with these 4 questions, and then it evolved and morphed and evolved to a point where it became what it is today. And it goes way deeper than this. I'm just giving you the intro in today's session. So you move to the method, but the nuance here is you're not talking about your method. Well, you are, but you're not using you language or my method. Well, my method, thanks for answering all those questions, because remember, they've just entrusted you, probably burst into tears, or they're at least sharing stuff with you that they've not shared with their loved ones. So this is deeply personal. If you suddenly shift to, and this is where everybody goes wrong, we do this work and then we go, yeah, I've got the answer for that. My method, I'm gonna do da, 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 da. No, slow down, right? We don't buy products and services, we buy into our own goals, but we buy into ideas. For example, you might buy into being a carnivore as a concept, or vegan as a concept, or you buy into a certain religion as an idea. We buy into these ideologies. So step 3 is not selling your product. Step 3 is making sure they're bought into the ideology of what you do. I call it a universal solution. So for example, what I teach is peaceful sales and consulting. So as I would move to step number 3, I would say, thank you so much for sharing everything with me today. It sounds like you've been super stressed with your business and pushing to make money. The first thing we've got to do is we've got to remove that forcing it. You must be in flow. And I'll tell you why. Because when you're in flow, you can do nothing wrong. And when you're out of flow, you're forcing things and you can do nothing right. And that's one of 2 ways that generally people feel. Most people, unfortunately, feel the latter. They're pushing, and that's why it's not happening. But that means that you must sell from who you are on the deepest level. Anything or any deviation from that, you are faking it. Does that make sense? And I believe that the reason why we're sitting down today is because you want to create real change and transformation for your clients, right? In your area. Okay, perfect. In that case, undercharging and undervaluing yourself and not seeing yourself as the authority is what's hurting your business. And they're just nodding, going, yeah, this is me. I'm sharing my method, but I'm not saying it's my method. Does this make sense? I'm sharing you the ideology. I'm sharing the universal solution, saying, if you're going to do this, what you need to do is you need to make sure that you do a few things. Number 1 is see yourself as the authority, but not just some motivational coach telling you to do that. You must have that identity shift and truly sell from who you are. From there, you've got to start tracking the data, because if you're not tracking the sales data, that is already showing you that you're not serious about your business. And then you've got to get your consultation in place as well. But you've got a choice. You can either continue to work in a way where you're fighting and pushing and trying to convince people to buy from you, or you can shift to offering real change and transformation where you're literally just bringing in the right clients and you're loving life, you're freeing up all your time. That is the method. And whether you work with me or not, I recommend that that's what you're doing. Can you see what I've done this extremely quickly? Normally I'll take my time with a client a little bit more, but now they're buying into a methodology. And you can't just talk at them about the universal solution, and you can't say, this is how I work with clients, because it's not about you, not yet, okay? Do the work, genuinely be there to help somebody. How you make this more relatable is you share stories, metaphors. I'm a big storyteller. If you follow me or here on YouTube, if you don't click the subscribe button, I share a lot of stories here on YouTube. It's super important. And I'm very visual as well, so you can draw visuals. So if you're helping somebody with skin transformation, you draw the 5 layers of the skin and what's happening with their skin, so on and so forth. They buy into this method. They go, yes, I want to buy this method. And then you can move, you've now got permission to move to step number 4. And by the way, all this gets easier and easier the further along. Provided we do the work here, this is easier. Provided we do the work here, this is easier. And by the time you get here, what everybody thinks is the hardest, which is closing the sale, I call it confirm the sale, is actually the easiest. Let's take a look here. Now they're bought in on a method. What's happened is this level was deeply personal. Their excitement and their desire will increase. They bought into a method, but it might still sound a little bit scary. So what you need to do, and this is the easiest step, but everybody misses it. What you need to do is, it sounds strange, is you need to check the original goal. So you go back to and say, I know this sounds like a strange question, but I just want to go back to the original reason why we sat down in the first place. can you just share exactly the big goal that you're trying to achieve with me again? And then what we can do, we can take everything we talked about and see how it relates. That's how you do step number 4. This gives the opportunity for the client, potential client, to say, wow, actually, you know, this has been life-changing for me. The aha moments, the breakthroughs, and yeah, I can see that I truly do want to be an authority, or I truly want, you fill in the blank. And the nuance, again, my favorite word, is when they link their goal to your method, that's the biggest buying signal of all. If there's still a detachment from their goal and your method, then we've not done our job properly. 100% of the time, I mean this with hundreds of conversations I've had, 100% of the time, when I do this properly, the connection, the link is there, and we need this link to happen. It's deep psychology that's got to go on. Now, if they're crumbling at this point, you've done all the work, you've done everything right, and they're like, oh, I'm still not sure, blah, blah, blah. You don't just go, okay, well, think about it. I need to think about it. Because this is the point where that you might get 1 out of 10 people, 2 out of 10 people, even with doing everything right, they're going to say, I'm not sure. Rather than trying to convince them, and this is what every amateur does, right? And most 99% of people are amateurs in this game, but we don't have to be. What everybody does is they go into convincing. They try and give more reasons why you should buy from them. But the problem is, if somebody isn't bought into the original reason why they should buy from you, giving more reasons is going to reduce the chances of them buying again and again and again. So what you do is you slow down and say, okay, no worries, I appreciate it's a huge decision and I'm not here to push you to buy, right? You don't need to say I'm not here to push you to buy, because that can sound a bit salesy. But let's just go back to why we're here in the first place. And so if they've not linked this two together, you're going back and saying, look, you've still got the original goal. Because if somebody tells me they need to think about it, I'm going to say, completely cool, no problem at all. I've got one question for you though, before you go away and think about it. You've still got the goal of transforming your sales, is that right? You still want to be doing $15,000, $20,000 a month with 3-4 clients a month? Yes, I do. Okay, I understand. My question to you is, when you walk away from today, what is your plan to achieve that goal? Because you will need a plan. It's not going to happen by accident. So how will you go about that? Now, this is a confident question, and you've got to be well practiced, and this has got to be natural. It's not going to feel natural. It's actually got to be natural from your beingness. And again, 100% of the time, when you do that from a place of sincerity, and you know, because for me, I want to help someone. So if they're going to walk away from me and I know they're not going to do anything, I'm confused. So I'm going to let them know, hey, what's your plan? And 100% of the time they go, I haven't got one. Okay, well, let's go back to your original goal. Can you see how this works? Let's go back to your goal. Just one more time, tell me why we sat here in the first place. Why we just done 30 minutes sitting together if you're going to walk away now. That's all I'm going to say. And then you don't do it again and again and again, because it becomes pressure. But you're not giving up on that client immediately as they say, I'm not sure. Yeah, this is far deeper than I can give credit for in this training. But provided they link their goal to your method, now you can confirm. If you feel they're the right match, wow, you're the perfect client, I'd love to work with you. You state that you're excited to work together. See, for me, because we're a team, it's not about convincing somebody to buy and me against them. No, we're a team, and if it's going to happen, you know, great, we're going to change your life together. This is amazing. I'm excited to work with you. I'd love to invite you in. I read through your application, sitting here with you now, you're going to be the perfect client. And I always say this, for me, this is a personal thing, you don't have to say it, but it's also sincere. All of my consulting clients become friends. I work with my clients not for months, I work with them for years. I've got clients I've worked with for 6-7 years, they've transformed their lives, and they continue to want to deepen their transformation, so they continue to work with me. And that's the way I operate. You can have a 2-option confirmation. I'm not going to go into that in this video, because it's in essence giving we can go 3 months or we can go 6 months, but don't worry about that for now. And ask for payment. Okay, well, at this stage, I normally ask for the money. And if you're uncomfortable asking for the money, and how I've done this over years is that I have a bit of a joke around it. I say, well, at this point, we've both confirmed I need to ask for money. So do you want to pay by credit or debit card? And they might go, oh, do you mind invoicing me? Now, generally, and this again might be for another video, I do like to get some kind of payment there and then, but I don't do it in a forceful manner. But you do need to be asking for payment at this point. If you forget to ask for payment, I've had this loads of times with clients, they reach out to me and say, Pete, I did a brilliant consultation, everything was amazing, and now the client's ghosted me. If they're truly serious, they're going to pay there and then, okay? If you feel after all of this that they're not the right client for you, you're detached from the sale, right? So make another recommendation. Hey, listening to you today, I don't feel that we even need to do all this work. You don't need to invest $5,000 with me today. Instead, what you need to do is these first few steps, and this is how I recommend you do it. Can you hear that language? I've done this countless times throughout my career because I refuse to bring somebody in that is at the wrong time or the wrong fit or the wrong mindset to work with, because it always ends in disaster. So once you have the ability and the calm and the authority to say no, that's when people will start saying yes to you. I guarantee it. You're stuck because you're thinking everybody's got to say yes because you're coming from a place of lack. Meanwhile, even if you're down to your last dollar and you can walk away from a $10,000 sale because you know it's the wrong fit, that's when you'll start making real money, guaranteed. So you refer, you recommend, hey, just continue by yourself, keep doing your thing, you're doing great, you're doing better than you think. Or make a different recommendation. So let's summarize. Step number one, pre-consultation, everything happens. Step number one, rapport, stating your position, qualify with the questions. It's not just the questions, it's how you ask them, the timing, the storytelling, everything. You're helping the client define the goal. And from here, you're sharing the universal solution, but it's really your method. And by the way, throughout all of this, you're bringing the client in all the time. If you noticed in this video, I'm saying comment below, let me know your breakthroughs. I'll say it again, make sure you're sharing your notes below. The more you bring people in, it becomes a dialogue, not a monologue. When we're robotic and we're talking at the client, we lose them, right? So we wanna bring them in as much as possible. Then re-qualify by checking the original goal. If they're not sure, boom, back to qualify. And then if they are ready, wonderful, you confirm or make another recommendation. That is the entire blueprint from start to finish. I sincerely hope that you've stuck around from beginning to end. Share this with anybody else that you feel will benefit. I'm not done yet though, I'm not done, don't go anywhere, because here's some practical tips for you to finish up. Number one, stay calm. It's not about being excitable. You might be excited to work with someone, but if you're all giddy in energy and reactive, nobody wants to spend thousands with somebody that hasn't sold for thousands before. They must feel that you're the authority, and the authority is calm. Remember, new energy, like a new young relationship, that you're posting, or that couple is posting everything all over social media. But actually, we know as we mature, it's not about that. Yeah, so stay calm. People will love to buy from you calm because they feel safe. I've said this throughout, you work as a team with the client. You're not there to force them to buy. Remind the client it's their decision. I remind clients it's their decision over and over again in different ways because I truly want that to sink in. And I believe that as well, it's their decision. It's not even I don't close the sale, it's up to them. They close themselves. It's up to them if they move ahead. Zero attachment. Want to help your client with every cell in your body, all the space between those cells, and not give a fuck if they say yes or no. That's the power that you have in your hands. And practice, practice, practice. If you're not in my community, make sure you're in my community. I've got more training on this. This is the deep work that I do with my clients, and yeah, it's what changes my clients' lives. Thank you so much for checking this out. Again, hit the subscribe button, the like button, share this with anybody you feel that benefit, and drop your notes below. Thank you.